Hello, and welcome to another Minecraft video in our world of Goldfield. Now today there are a couple of things I would like to do, including harvesting our wheat farm and our sugarcane farm. And there we go, we both sheared our sheep and also harvested our wheat. Now I do want to head on over to our villagers to try to trade with them and get some more emeralds and experience to help repair my pickaxe. And now I can actually get an efficiency book for my pickaxe too. And that is a pretty good pickaxe. Now all we are missing is unbreaking, and then we will have a maxed out fortune pickaxe. Which, speaking of, I do think I would like to try to get unbreaking, as it's going to be useful for all sorts of kinds of armor. But at the same time, I'm fine with really getting any other good enchantment, such as protection, or really anything that's useful. And finally, it is time to make this fella useful. And there we go. That is a really good trade, so I am going to actually take that immediately. And now we can put this fella somewhere over here. Now my vague goal for that villager is to just get a generally good enchantment. I'm hoping for something like unbreaking, but I'm not too worried about what it is as long as it's good. In the meantime, I am going to harvest this sugarcane and bring more sugarcane over there so that we have more paper. And there we go, from that trading we got 3 mending books and a fully repaired pickaxe. Now what I want to do is get this fella into his area and start trying to get a good enchantment. Somehow we got the cheapest mending possible without curing a villager after they were zombified. Possible. Before unbreaking 3 once, but that's pretty cool. Looting 3 is a pretty convincing enchantment. For 12 emeralds, I accidentally hit him. But I feel like it's not a ton useful, so I do think I am going to skip it for now. And finally, after more than 200 times of breaking this lectern, we have gotten Unbreaking 3, and actually for a pretty good price. So I am going to accept these trades and get a few emeralds while we're at it. For those of you that did notice the different villager, I switched him out because I kept accidentally hitting him, which was causing his prices just to go up and up and up. So I didn't want an already expensive enchantment to be super duper expensive to the point where we wouldn't be able to get it easily. And price is important just because unbreaking is something that can go on pretty much any piece of armor or tool. And now we can finally get the last book to max out our pickaxe, except for making it netherite, which will probably wait a little while to do that. And there we go, with 10 levels and a new book, we've got a really, really great pickaxe. And with this, I think it might make sense to go mining. Now that we have fortune, I think we'll be able to get a lot more yields. Today we're going to go into the same cave we went mining in last time, as we didn't explore a lot of it. I did see some coal, and I did not want to miss the opportunity to grab some so we could make some torches for whatever else we need in the future. And right off the bat, we already have 4 diamonds. Now, it does hurt me to do this, but honestly, we don't need to worry one bit about getting iron, because now we have an iron farm. Well, that was a terribly fast death, and a terrible water bucket placement, as I honestly thought that would protect me, but I guess I guessed wrong. There really is just so much iron, I feel like it would be a crime to not get it. I might not end up smelting it or using it, but I feel like it's always good to have. And this block right here will be keeping note of, as I am pretty sure deep slate coal is one of the more rare blocks in the game. Oh, that's pretty cool. This cave links up to our original cave we found, and just above us is our first base. Alright, we've made it back to the surface and we came out with a pretty good amount of items, lots of redstone, lapis, and a couple of diamonds. Now it isn't as many diamonds as I would have liked to seen, especially because we have Fortune 3. But I do think what we'll do is probably head over to one of those caves I saw all the way over there when we were trying to get more villagers. In the meantime though, as we've seen, our sugarcane has regrown, and our wheat is also nearly fully grown. I'm gonna harvest those things and then we will head on over. With all of those tasks complete at our base, we can now look towards mining. And over here, I did actually forget about this lush tree. I don't remember what they're called. But under it is going to be a huge cave, a lush cave. Now something else I see in the distance that way is another one, which either means we have 2 opportunities to mine and get lots of materials, or it's just one huge lush cave that's also deep because there is water and an ocean separating them. So I'm going to be careful and kill some mobs and then we'll head down. And there we go, we have entered the cave. So I do want to be careful, but it does also seem like it is a pretty small lush cave. So we will be careful, but we will still explore some more. Now I'm not sure if this is just an absolutely tiny lush cave, or if there is a much bigger one further down. And it was indeed just a tiny lush cave, so now we are just gonna get out of here and go to the other tree. And just so we don't ever try to mine here again, I'll put an X, and now I'm gonna head over to that lush tree over there. And already just traveling this little bit, I can see about 3 lush trees, which I see one over there, and one just over that hill. Now again, either this is 3 separate tiny ones, I doubt these 2 are, or it is a major connected cave that is going to be phenomenal for mining. And there we are. We are in a lush cave and an abandoned mine shaft with a spawner. This is honestly a pretty crazy lush cave. I haven't seen anything like this before. Lush mine shaft with a spawner. Nonetheless, we are going to spend some time mining it out and getting some phenomenal materials. And here we go. This looks a lot more promising and more open. And already we have found diamonds over here. And that's pretty crazy. Just from mining one of those with a Fortune 3 pickaxe, we just got 12. And honestly, unless I find another huge cave, I think we're gonna call it wraps on this mining trip, as we've gotten a ton of materials, especially diamonds, which I really did not expect to get as many as I did. Yeah, I'm not too sure, but I do not think that these trees over here are related to the tree all the way over there. Now, I might be wrong, but I feel like I didn't journey that far in that direction, and I stayed pretty much in the same area. Now, this dude with a trident is picking a fight. These two dudes with a trident are picking a fight, and I'm not taking it, actually. Because one of them is on the, relatively new mob. And I do not know how they work, so I am just going to get out of here. And now that we are at my base, we need to put stuff in chests and just figure out and organize a lot. I'm gonna start smelting the things that should be smelted, and we'll go from there. And now we have a total of 42 diamonds, which to me makes sense to finally craft diamond armor, now that we have mending and protection villagers. And I'm sure we could also look into making tools, but I think for now we'll leave that alone. I'll put the diamonds back, and now I want to see if we can enchant this armor. Now I do think if we get a little more paper, we would be able to get mending on everything. So I am going to trade this, and then if we need more, get more paper. You know, I've seen a lot of weird generation in the game, but while getting some cows and some leather, I did notice this weird thing, and I'm just so confused why this generated like this. But I do also want to point out, there is another abandoned mine shaft here, but not necessarily that, but rather, there are quite a few rails here if we ever need them. So that's going to be something to keep in mind while I head back to our house. And by the way, now we really do not need to ever get a sharpness villager, because we have a sharpness 4 villager, which I know technically it's not the max level, or is it super cheap, but it's to the point where I think it's a fair price to not have to get another villager. Now what I'm going to do though is buy a couple of protection books. Well, I first need to get another mending book. So now we have 4 mending books, and ideally we can get about 2 more, which, if we just get a bit more paper and wait for these fellas to cool down, we'll be able to get pretty easy. In the meantime, we are going to put protection and mending on what we can. And with the last protection book bought, the last combination and adding it onto our helmet, we now have very, very good armor. Now I think the next thing to do would be put unbreaking on it, but that's probably going to take a little bit of time. In the meantime though, we can buy one of our books and I guess continue just slowly trading and getting what we need. With that said, today we have gotten a lot done. We've gotten full diamond armor with protection and mending. We pretty much maxed out our pickaxe except for making it netherite. And next time we'll be able to make tools and just enchant more. Of course, next time we'll probably get some more villagers and overall just do more in our world. Anyways, that's the end of this video. I really appreciate you watching, and if you have any questions or suggestions, please let me know in the comments. In the meantime, have yourself a great day.